Yo, what's happening, y'all? Let's get into the content, man. We finished these wide receivers up, right? Uh, I would have to tell you that I'm very disappointed because this wide receiving class was trash. There were some games that I even watched the games that it seemed like it still was incomplete. But then I had to take a step back. I'm like, nah, that's not me. It's just what I'm watching. I'm watching nothing but gimmicks, a gimmick offense with players that's got to function in a gimmick offense. There's nothing traditional about a lot of these wide receivers that I was watching. They would run the same routes, they would do the same thing. So it was, a little tougher to try to, had to try to use some imagination. But at the end of the day, when evaluating these players, you can't use no imagination. You got to go off of what the tape says, not the combine, not the Senior Bowl, not the Shrine Bowl, but what the tape say. Because the tape tell all. The tape tell no lies. And what I'm getting ready to tell you is what the tape say. There's going to be some things that's probably going to shock you in this video that many may disagree with me. But I went on record to go against the grain, and a lot of what I went in regards to recent memory of me going against the grain, it has been proven correct. I'm not afraid to take backlash because people may disagree with me. I don't care, I ain't tripping about none of that. Because there could be some more people that actually think in some ways on what I'm getting ready to say. See, a lot of the times, man, right, people get fooled. They'll look at production. They'll look at stats and all of a sudden equate that with a good player. That's not the case. Because if that's the case, then why Troy Smith wasn't a good player? Where's the TCU quarterback that went to the championship? How he doing right now? Where he at? How Todd's boy doing? How Vernon Golston doing? Where Kevin White at? Oh, okay. There's a lot of people that's just better college players than they are NFL players. And just because they was a good college player doesn't mean that it's going to translate to the NFL. So you have to be mindful when you look at these players. Although production tells a little bit of the story, it doesn't tell the whole story. Look at Jason Pierre-Paul. Not much on tape, but enough to take to understand that, hey, potentially that's what you want. And he's had a good career. Khalil Mack, he had one game with competition. It was Ohio State, and he made the most of it with 4 sacks. And he has had an excellent career. So when players play at small schools, when players play in different conferences that may not have like SEC type competition, I'm looking for you to perform in a certain type of way, especially against players that's coming out, because you're going to see 3 times better players in the NFL on a more consistent basis than you will going against babies in college. But enough with that. Let's get straight into the content. Here we go. So, oh boy, man, I think I'm butchering his name, man. Tatoria or something like that. We're going to call him Ted McMillan. 6'5", 212, Arizona. Now, when I tell y'all, right, I was disappointed in these wide receivers. In all the wide receivers that I watched, I've only seen one that could potentially really be a number 1 wide receiver. That's how bad it was. One. Now, there's others that potentially can be very productive, but there was only one that I would say that that is a good chance that they could be a number 1 wide receiver. And we're going to get into that as we go along in the content. But Ted McMillan, So one thing, right, that I like about Ted McMillan from Arizona is that he snags that football with his hands. He a hands catcher for sure. Comes back to the football, big wide receiver. He high points the football. Won the jump ball versus K-State. Very good hands. I could tell he been on that jug machine. Big body, possession wide receiver, good catch radius. But I believe he needs a duo. I believe he needs somebody on the other side of him. I don't if he's just that one that they banking on him and he the one, I don't think he'll thrive, right? I think it'll be more kind of like how Keon Coleman was, right? And I think he's a little bit more polished as a wide receiver than Keon Coleman, but in regards to separation, they pretty much the same type of wide receivers, man. And you can see how originally that came out. I believe Keon Coleman can have a pretty solid career, but there's limitations to his game because he just doesn't get much separation. So he got a big body people. And that's what Ted McMillan gonna have to do. But Ted McMillan gonna have to get a little bigger though. But like I said, he will separate by using his body, and it will have to be by route running. He is not a third level wide receiver. He is not quick. That will hurt himself. I put I'm not gonna compare him to Brandon Marshall because I don't believe he's Brandon Marshall, but it's kind of like Brandon Marshall like, just to get you a paint a picture. And breaking routes and comebacks are his money. He can't separate with speed with the top corners. I think the top corners will eliminate him, right? When you start getting to like the corners over there in Texans, right? I think they will eliminate, corners like that, right? He, like I said, he needs to get bigger. His situation could hurt or help him. Like if I had to give you like another comparison of somebody playing now, like Drake Londonish. He's a number 2 wide receiver. I put though one thing that I was a little concerned about is there was some times where I seen him jogging on routes. I didn't like that. 2-level wide receiver. I said he needs to stop picking and choosing when he wants to fire off the line, and he does adjust to the ball in the air. And I put he only has one gear. He needs to get better on his release. But as I mentioned before, he will always be limited because of his burst. Now let's get to Luther Burden. Luther Burden is 5'11", 205, Missouri. Now, like I said, I just have the weight that's listed. I mean, things will probably change. It's usually about a few pounds difference and an inch or so difference. But Luther Burden is not a burner. 5'11", 205, Missouri. Not a burner, but not slow. Slightly above average speed, I would say. Is good after the catch. That's probably the best thing I like about him is his run after the catch. He runs he runs on fire. I like that. He was handed the rock out the backfield. I said I wouldn't call him Anquan, but he got like Anquan Bolden tendencies, right? In regards to the run after the catch. Just to kind of paint you a little picture of Anquan Bolden-ish. Not Anquan because shit, man, ain't none of these wide receivers Anquan. But he's Anquan Bolden-ish. He does need to control his emotions a little bit better because I seen he had got about a flag or two in regards to containing it. But then again, I don't want him to contain it too much because I love the way he plays with that fire and that passion. And especially in today's time, we don't see that often. And so I would love that because that's part of what makes him the receiver that he is playing with that passion. So keep it up. Just learn how to fuel the fire, and that's going to come with some coaching too. But like I said, I like the fire though. He does adjust his body to the football. He has a good catch radius. He's not fast off the line. The deep ball catches I've seen in him were a product of breakdown and coverages. Um, he had a horrible drop versus K State. Uh, they motioned him a lot to free him. He breaks a lot of tackles. He makes people miss. A lot of quick throws caught so he can make a play or try to, but he does make plays. The time I seen him block, his man did make the play, which was disappointing. He's a number 2 wide receiver at best as well. I did see a lot of snaps in the slot. Like I said, a lot of quick throws to him. He is going to need to expand his route tree in the NFL. Let's go to the next one, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. In looking at these wide receivers, it was very tough to make a top 5. Like really only got a top 3. That's how bad this wide receiver class was. To give you a perspective, it was hard to watch. Like I put a lot of time into watching the rest of these wide receivers that I could. I think I watched 11. It was hard because it's the same stuff all over and over and over again, you know. And you pretty much gonna have to look at the physical characteristics that can translate to see if they can turn and get them amongst some good coaching. And that's part of how my top 5 was rounded out. I don't go off of, like I said, college production. I go off of how your skills translate to the league. Savion Williams, 6'5", 225, TCU. Let's talk about Savion, man. Caught a jump ball for a tug versus Stanford. He does give effort blocking. You know I like that. You know I like a wide receiver that blocks. Tall wide receiver. he gets the ball a lot out of the backfield. He's more fluid than Burden and McMillan. Remember that. Remember that because, you know, toward the end, we're going to talk a little bit. He's a good mover for his size, too, though. That's the thing that kind of caught my eye a little bit. He did have a couple drops. He was used as a decoy. He does high points to football. He a go-getter. You know I like them go-getters, man. I like big wide receivers that's going to go get it. He's a red zone target. Adjusts his body to the ball. Good hands, even though he had a couple drops, right? You know, because you could part that to concentration, yada-yada-yada, right? Because, you know, Brandon Marshall had a lot of concentration. Even T.O. had some concentration drops. But that needs to be fixed. You need to concentrate. He does need to get a little stronger. He gets out of his breaks pretty smooth, though. A lot of hitches, screens, shallow crosses, slant, verticals with him. He does comes back to the football. His run after the catch, right? I like it. He runs like a running back when the football is in the hands. Kind of remind you of somebody that the Dallas Cowboys have, huh? Right? Because I could tell that he does watch CeeDee Lamb in his game. He gets separation. They handed him the ball like a running back, though. Even like I said, he run like one. They handed him the ball like a running back. He a little raw at wide receiver, but he got it in him to develop. He got a good on-field mentality, and he's a potential number 1 wide receiver. If he develop and get in the right coaching, I think he's a potential number 1 wide receiver. Keep that in mind. Because I'm going to just let you know right now, that's the only one that I ever thought in looking at these wide receivers that is a potential number 1. Now, there's a couple wide receivers that can give you some production. I believe all of them can get you a little something to a certain degree with this mediocre-ass NFL. But when you talk about skills when things get tough, when you go against the better teams, right? I'm not looking at somebody that can perform against scrubs. I'm looking for somebody that's going to perform when you start going against the top players in the NFL and you start getting to the playoffs. Just like when we talked about Rashee Rice and him being a potential number 1 wide receiver, the Chiefs made him his number 1 wide receiver, and he won a Super Bowl his rookie year. I'm just saying, man. You know, come on, man. I got an eye for this, man, for sure. You know, that's why a lot of people. I got an eye for talent, my G. You know, and a lot of these players, man, They wasn't screaming out to me. But Savion Williams, he did. And we'll talk about it some more. Let's get through these wide receivers, though. Emeka Egbuka, 6'1", 205, Ohio State. He finds holes in the zones. His hips tight as hell. He not no athlete. He average at best. He slow out the gate. If I need him to make a play, can he do it? Right? When I mean a play, when I mean beat your man one-on-one, I need you to make this play like Cooper Kupp did in the Super Bowl. Can he do it? And the answer to me is no. He a robotic. I believe he'll be probably mediocre in the NFL because the NFL is mediocre, so that'll help him out a little bit. And he needs to be in a scheme that can set him up for success. Because if he doesn't, he'll probably be out the league in like 2 years. So he got to be in a scheme that's going to set him up for success. So every team can't draft him. So they got to figure out which team can use him. He will get no separation based on athleticism. Nothing special about him. Will need to run good routes to get open. He is a willing blocker, solid hands, 2-level wide receiver. No craftiness in his route running, though. Athletic cornerbacks will give him hell. He does make some contested catches, which helps his case. And he got some production. He a champion. But other than that, he's not that good. Maybe he'll a better college wide receiver than he'll be in the NFL. A lot of his shit don't translate. He's stiff. No, that don't really work too much, man. Let me see where I'm at. All right. Next one, Trey Harris. 6'3", 210, Ole Miss. I put that he needs to improve in regards to his stacking when he gets to the top of his route. He plays at one speed, no extra gear. Kind of jump ball in the end zone versus A&M. I've seen a lot of quick throws with him, slants, hitches, shallow crosses, right? It seemed like everybody running the same down routes, man. There used to be a few wide receivers that'll come out and that they'll run the whole route tree. You don't see that no more. Everything being dumbed down. I don't like that. I do not like the state of football. I do not. He dropped a bomb versus LSU for a tug. Didn't like that. He is a complimentary wide receiver. I put separation at the next level with question marks. No bursts off the line, which will hinder him, but he has good hands, very good hands. Like I said, a complimentary wide receiver at best. He's a different wide receiver with a free release than he is going against on-man coverage, press, mirror. He's a different wide receiver than he is. If he gets a free release, he'll have a little bit more success. And as you can see, these cornerbacks nowadays give him free releases, so that improves his chances, though. But any cornerback, like I said, when you get to some of them top cornerbacks who are going to get in your grill, it's a little different. He doesn't have the athleticism to make a true difference, is what I said. He got good hands, though, especially a couple of them times where he was snagging them things with one hand. Good hands. But I put in all reality, even though it's a possibility he'll go up because the NFL is so trash, if he was going off of how the standard of football is really should be played, he's like a 4th or 5th rounder. Isaiah Bond, Texas, 5'11", 180. Former Bama wide receiver. And his quarterbacks were so goddamn trash, I had to look at both Texas and Bama. And I had to really look at Bama to get a better feel for him. Ain't that crazy? I was questioning why he left. I know Nick Saban gone, but I was kind of questioning why he left, though. But maybe just because of the coach and he want to, try something. I mean, I understand it, especially if Nick gone. You came in with Nick, right? But here's my thing with him. He is quick off the line. One of the very few wide receivers that I watched that has that burst. Quick off the line. Now, give me a second. Oh, okay. Design got him open versus Georgia for a tug. Coordinator took advantage of his speed, which I'm pretty sure that'll happen in the NFL. Like I said, he's playing with bad quarterbacks. Uh, he had to, like I said, I had to go back to Bama for the film. His relationship with the quarterbacks wasn't the best that I could see on the field. He's not a main guy type of wide receiver. Both quarterbacks did overthrow him a lot when he had a step downfield, so he could have had a little bit more production. So his quarterbacks hindered him on that. He does body catches instead of snagging it. And you know, there's a problem with body catching all the time. If you allowing that football to come in your body and it gives that defense that extra little half second to go ahead and try to break up that pass, man, and there might be some incompletions that shouldn't have been had if he would have snagged it with his hand. He catches the ball a lot with his body. He needs to work on them hands for sure. He's not polished though. With him, a lot of crosses, deep routes to use his speed would be best for him. He doesn't have the length for a wide catch radius. And it has to be in his area for the most part. Now I did see against Michigan, he ran, and he dived to grab to catch the football at the beginning of the game. But after that, he was pretty much nowhere to be found. You know, I think that game he might have scored. Did he score? No, that was the other game. I think Georgia, where he scored and then caught the 2-point. But like I said, I know all of that wasn't him. You know, it was his quarterback. He got the same, if you remember, he got the same type of catch radius as Kayshon Boutte. But like I said, he doesn't have the length for a wide catch radius. Average hands at best. Not confident in him, I could tell. He's a number 3 wide receiver. His burst can be an asset to a team, but he is a limited wide receiver. He definitely needs to work on the routes, and he would be no more than a 4th rounder to me. But if a team can use his speed, you know, you can get some production out of him. Torrey Horton, Colorado State, 6'3", 185. A little strider in regards to, you know, when he runs. He does find holes in the zones. He spams the hell out of shallow crosses. Like majority of his routes that I've seen was just shallow crosses. I seen he got hurt this year. He possession wide receiver, good height, needs to get stronger and bigger. Like I said, he finds holes in the zone, solid hands, made some plays versus Michigan. He's going to have to expand his route tree. He has potential, but I needed to see more film. But I don't think it was the film. I think it was just that's something that you would have to look at the player and see, can he do this? I know if he's hurt that he couldn't compete at like the Senior Bowl and stuff, so that would have been a good thing because you would want to see, like, just like with Quinyon Mitchell when he was watching Quinyon, right? Even though I'm still not a huge believer in him, a lot of what he was doing was like off man coverage. So you had to see him in the Senior Bowl to see how he plays on man coverage, right? And I think that you would want to see Torrey Horton. He might have competed, but I just didn't see it. But you would want to see him with more responsibility in the scheme. Like I said, he just got more potential, but I just needed to see more. Like he got the potential to be productive. He's kind of like if I had to give you a comparison, kind of like a he definitely won't be, but like a Donald Driver type. You just, if they post more film, I'll definitely got to take it back and look, and hopefully it's a little bit different because it was the same routes over and over and over again, and then you know the competition wasn't the best. I know he played Michigan and Colorado, but it was all the same and everything underneath, right? Uh, rarely was it a bomb. I think everything was like 10 yards and under, you know. But he definitely got the size, especially if he can get that boy to about 205. You might got something. That's one of the ones where I'm interested, and I would like to see you. You know what I'm saying, if you healthy at your pro day, I want to see you run routes. I want to see your ability to get some separation. You know what I'm saying, because you are, regardless, you are a possession wide receiver, but I think you got the potential to be productive though, and I will want to see more, because if I see more and it satisfies me, then I will potentially, like me myself, I will potentially draft him, if we're being honest, and especially for your quarterback, if he can meet to what I would want to see, shit, that this would be the type of wide receiver that your quarterback will like, especially, you know what I'm saying, with what he used to throwing and got. Travis Hunter, I had to insert him, even though I believe they say he a corner. I had to insert him. Now, this is one of the wide receivers, man, that I'm catching a lot of flack on for what I just said about 24 hours ago in regards to him, man. So let's talk about it, man. Travis Hunter, Colorado, 6'1", 185. Even though I don't think he 185, I think he a little lower than that. No strength, excellent condition. And watching the K-State film, non-existent. They say he had a liver problem, whatever the case may be. I mean, look, you out there, perform. All you got to do is press him. He little. You press him. When I seen him get pressed, he going out of bounds. He too little. A lot of screen plays to him. When I seen his losses, he doesn't appear in his losses. He's unpolished, right? See, we're gonna explain why, right? Because people, this is one of the ones I keep saying, that you can't look at the yardage, you can't look at that. It's not a good, because you got to look at the competition, you got to look at how he got it, you got to look at all that. So, I look, he's soft to me. He's soft. He's soft. He stands around instead of looking for to looking for a block when his teammate got the ball. He stands around. I don't like that shit at all. I don't like that at all. He more of a college football player to me. It takes him a long time to get out of the breaks, right? He's not smooth out of breaks. He does make contested catches. I put he beat on scrubs. Average acceleration. Doesn't fire off the line at times. He takes him a while to get going. Solid hands. He exposes his chest too much. As soon as his chest get exposed and somebody put hands in him, it really knocks him off, man. So he need work on that. His release need work too. He's not even the best wide receiver on his team. So all this goddamn hype. He's not even the best wide receiver on his team. Not a burner. If he was to get it in the NFL, it would have to be kind of like Deion. It would have to be in spot duty. But Deion was definitely faster, so it wouldn't be the same impact as Deion, to be honest. I put he overrated. He stayed, like I said, he stayed getting pressed out of bounds. He more of a run after the catch wide receiver in regards to college. I put if you give him free releases, though, he can have some decent production. I put Nebraska, K-State, Kansas, Milk Carton. And I know people looking at the 100 against BYU. I had that game on. They was getting their ass whooped. So, of course, it's going to be like them Dak Prescott Scots where when people kind of, playing a little back, playing a little soft, of course you're going to get yours, man. You got to look at the context of things. Man, they was nowhere to be found. See, I'm going to tell you something, man. When I see better, if you that guy, you need to be dominating a certain type of way. If you that guy, when you see better competition, you need to rise to the occasion. And when I'm seeing what Nebraska, K-State, Kansas was doing, I didn't see what I needed to see. Somebody that really separate and really be the cream. They say the cream rises to the top. Well, shit, she was looking real Milky Way because I didn't see no cream that rise to the top when I was watching this boy. All that shit was overrated. Now, in regards to some of the things that I've ever seen him at corner, we're gonna talk about that when we look at the corner tape, right? His but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna take a little bit break. When I seen him at corner, he got whacked by the Stanford wide receiver who I didn't watch, and he weak as shit. He weak. He was big body in him. He mossed him. He was kind of like in that trail position. Bro, he got mossed. And he a scrub, G. So if that scrub doing you like that, big body in you, what you think Devontae Adams gonna do to you? What you think CeeDee Lamb gonna do to you? What you think Chase gonna do to you? What you think Justin Jefferson gonna do to you? Huh? We got all these wide receivers. What you think they're gonna do to you? Huh? What you think Devontae Smith gonna do to you? Huh? What you think Rashee Rice gonna do to you? Gonna body you up? Huh? You got all these wide receivers, man. What you think they're gonna do to you? If anything, like I said before, I come with my definitive answer in regards to before, like wide receiver, he ain't the best on his team. We already watched that. We already watched the tape. Cornerback watched a little bit, but from what I seen here at cornerback, hey, look, he might be somebody that you might want to try as safety. I think he could be a better safety because like Devin McCourty when he went to safety from cornerback, right? I think that's somebody that you might want to try as safety. I will beef him up and try to play him as safety. I will see what's up with that. But we're going to look at the cornerback, and when we do the cornerbacks, of course, he's going to be in there as well. But he's an overrated player to me. A lot of quick passes, a lot of screens, right? He had screens, little crossing routes, right? When Shedeur found him in the thing, but it just wasn't nothing that had him create. I didn't see much creativity, right? Yeah, like against North Dakota, right? Or is it South Dakota that they play this year? Like he had caught a quick pass, boom. No, was it a comeback? I think it was a comeback, if I'm not mistaken. He cut no, it was a quick pass. It was a quick pass, and the safety took a bad angle and he scored. A lot of the times, man, the coverage be trash, and the cornerbacks you go against is trash. And I mean, shit, you out there. I mean, let's be honest with you. You out here. You did what you did your first couple years at Jackson State. Like, come on, that's Jackson State. Like, let's be honest with you, right? Then you went to the Big 12. Like, who the hell was in the Big 12, right? And then some of the decent teams that you did play, right? You didn't show out like you did with the scrubs. Just saying, man. Like some of the things he got was just part of the scheme. It wasn't because he Travis Hunter and he that boy. Like I said, he a good college player, right? But what he does it translate to the NFL? What he did in college? No, he's not. He may dog on some of the scrub ass teams, but when it gets down to that team, man, when you start ask IU how when he got into a scheme and he go against scrubs, he had decent games. But when it was time for him to make a play, he couldn't. That's why he couldn't. He got clamped because he really not that good. But that scheme and going against mediocre competition will get you to go ahead and be seen in the light that people think you're good and you're not. Look at the statistics. Michael Parsons get good statistics. Is he a good football player? No. So the statistics will get people fooled, man. Don't get fooled by the statistics, man. When I look at his game, his physical, like his route running is not that good. Like I seen an out, like horrible route, man. What game was it? Was it Nebraska or was it Kansas State or TC? It was one of them games when I was watching, man. When he was running an out play, that shit was terrible. Terrible. Now, some of the eyes and when he drives on the football, that's more safety. That was more safety like. But we'll dig into the cornerback. But I believe Travis Hunter, especially as a wide receiver, is vastly overrated. He ain't even the best wide receiver on his team. He's just somebody that just probably played a lot of positions, played a little football. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But I'm saying if he a top 5 pick, his draft sucks. If he's a top 5 pick, this draft sucks. Just saying, G. You may disagree, you may agree. But I know what I seen. Tez Johnson, 5'10", 165, Oregon. He little. He a gimmick player. Some good speed and acceleration, though. He's one of the ones, like I said, one of the few that got some good speed and acceleration. He can get separation with that speed. He's more of an inside wide receiver. Get him in space. He does give effort to block. I give him that, right? 5'9", 5'10". Hear my thing. When it's a run play, his get off be delayed. I can tell you that it's going to be a run play because he doesn't give that same burst and that same the sell to pass in the run game as his wide receiver should. And I can tell you every time they're gonna run the football, by the way he gets off the rock, he gonna have to fix that. He tips it off. Very limited in the route tree, outs and breaking. That was pretty much it. He did win up top. I think it was against Ohio State, which is cool, but he got that speed. He runs hard when he is the first read. But other than that, it was the same all the time with him. Gimmick player. Can't really evaluate him as a true wide receiver. So if you're gonna draft somebody like him, it's gonna have to be off his physical characteristics. I would look at him like, kind of like the way the Dallas Cowboys do the Kevontae Turpin. Jalen Royals, Utah State, 6', 205. He looks built, probably one of the most built wide receivers that he was. Kind of like a DJ Moore built. He broke a tackle versus Boise for a tug. I like him on slants and comebacks, curls, and shallow crosses. Occasional double move to keep him honest, right? Now, this is somebody that when I say Anquan Bolden, he got Anquan Bolden speed. To me, let's get into it. Like, he's not a burner. Supposedly, I read that he was a track star, but it sure didn't translate to the field because I didn't see him run past nobody. So that track, what kind of track star was he? You know what I'm saying? Because I sure didn't see it. He does break arm tackles for rack opportunities. He's a 2-level wide receiver. I would like to see more film on him because I was able to watch a couple games and then like some of his catches against New Mexico. But I will want to watch film and I will hope to find some film against some comp to really, really see about him. But that's one of the ones with him. I would say that he does have potential for what I've seen so far, but I would need to see more, just like I would want to see more for the Colorado State wide receiver. So that's like a question mark for them too. All right, man. Here the one I was talking about, man. I gave that boy Travis a little work, man. Elik Ayamanar, I believe his name is. Stanford 6'2", 210. Let's talk about it, man. Bodied up Hunter, mossed him, or what I say, David Tyree him. I seen him put some effort in his blocking. I seen him make some contested catches. He's not a burner. He a special teams special teams player, maybe a 4 or 5 wide receiver. He inconsistent hands. Let me see. I put he a scrub. He a scrub. No separation. No playmaking ability. Nothing special. If he was going to be somebody, he should have dominated. I've seen him get strapped many times. I've seen him drop the ball a lot. Inconsistent hands. But he'll make a couple good catches. Spectacular plays to think that he got him, but it's inconsistent. Don't like that at all. But let me see. I don't want to miss nothing for y'all. I said for him beating Hunter, that That should sum up Hunter as a cornerback. I was talking shit. Straight up. If this scrub has some success against you, that should tell you everything you need to know about Travis Hunter as a cornerback. I remember when I was watching Kevin White go against that TCU cornerback, man, that went to like the 7th round or undrafted. I said, if this TCU cornerback who ain't even top 5, who's one of the bottom of the list, clamp you, you suck. And what do you know? Kevin White's career in the NFL sucked. So when I sit over there and tell you, right, I'm not trying to hate on the boy, but I'm just keeping it real. If this man has some success against you at cornerback, you not as good as you think you is. This, bro, he looked helpless when he go against bigger wide receivers. He gets bodied up. I know he don't want to tackle. He'll tackle you from behind and swing you down, but I know he don't want to tackle. I'm running at Travis Hunter. I'm going to put them pads on you, boy. Make him tackle. Now, I've seen him make a couple little tackles, but no. What I seen this year, I seen a lot of standing around. I know you play both ways, but your effort need to be there. If you're tired, patch your helmet and we'll take you out, man. Because that's how you could also get hurt, too, by standing around on piles and shit. Man, I remember playing one of my defensive ends, man, I played with, man. He standing around a pile, had a knee injury, was out a couple months. You can't play around like that. He don't want to get in the mix sometime. And that's a knock against him. But let me tell you my number one. Let me tell you, it's really 3 to me. But I'll give you 5 just for 5's sake. So this is how I see it. Savion Williams is number 1. Luther Burton is 2 to me. McMillan is 3 to me. But, it's not too far off. The reason why I get an edge to Burton is because the way he runs after the catch, because I believe that will translate. Seeing how these corners don't want to tackle and he running like he on fire, he could make a lot of plays like that. I had Horton, and then it could be Royals or the Ohio State wide receiver we talked about. Only because even though he robotic and stiff as hell, he was more of a pure wide, like in regards to some of the things that he ran was more a little bit pure than the other wide receivers, right? It's just that he don't have the athleticism to really get busy the way that he should. But Horton, Royals got potential, but the only 3 I watched that can really say that is like wide receivers is McMillan, Savion, and Luther Burton. Now let's talk about it. I remember Corey had brought it to my attention, man. Shout out to Corey, man. That he called CeeDee Lamb CeeDee Williams. If that was any indicator that the Dallas Cowboys is looking at Savion, I would say that you're on to something because of what I've seen. Because Savion Williams, even he doesn't have like major production at wide receiver, but he made plays and he had physical characteristics that will translate. And if you coach him, he can really be productive for you. He can really like potentially like he got number 1 wide receiver potential, right? Now, not everybody meets it, but he has the physical characteristics to get it done. He's big, he's he is smooth, athletic, and he got some run after the catch ability. He ran the football, he threw the football, he caught the football. I mean, shoot, there's some things that you have to like. Now, seeing that the Dallas Cowboys need a playmaker, to be honest with you, I wouldn't consider none of these wide receivers in the first round other than Savion Williams. Seeing that the way that these people be reaching and the way that this draft is potentially not that good, especially at playmakers, I would take Savion. Like that college production don't always look at look for instance, right? Look at Savion versus that Arizona State running back. they trying to get at Genty for his playoff performance over with the Arizona State, but not knowing that Genty it will be a better pro than an Arizona State running back. Hands down, Genty will be much better because what Genty brings is more translatable than the Arizona State running back. So you got to get the difference between college and the league. And just because you produced at college doesn't mean that you're produced in the league. Some of them probably could be a better pro. They just need to get into a better situation. Savion Williams, to me, stood out and was the closest thing that you'll find to a number one. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, from what I've seen right now, if I had to tell you at a running back or wide receiver, if you can trade back, grab Savion. If for some reason, you wanted to go running back in the first round, trade all the way down back and go pick up the running back, Williams or the Caleb. Ashton Genty is not a top 10 pick, not a top 12 pick. I wouldn't touch Ashton Genty in our first round. He's not even a top 3 running back to me. To be honest with you, though, I wouldn't take running back in the first round, regardless, because I can believe that you can get a running back, a decent running back, second, third, fourth round, right? That'll end up what you want. But to be honest with you, I'll go give one of them picks up to get one of them established running backs. I'll go look at Charbonnet. I'll go look at Roschon Johnson. I'll go look at one of these other running backs that's number 2s, man, that's hiding behind it that really got the potential. I'm looking at Pierce from the Texans. You know what I mean? And I will go, if you wanted to double up, go get Pierce or something, and then go mess around and go get Travion. And then you're cooking with a little something. So there's more than one ways, man, to skin this cat. But if you're looking for a playmaker, man, look, I done watched 11 wide receivers, man, and there ain't that many else that I missed. And if these wide receivers are supposed to be the cream of the crop, are you trying to tell me, man, what I'm about to see is something hellified at the bottom? No. I'm telling you right now, Savion Williams is the number 1 wide receiver. There was no, let me see. If anything, number 2 and number 3 with McMillan and Luther Burton had gave me a little bit thought, right? So it was really on my preference, and I like the way that Luther Burton runs after the catch. But McMillan is a better pure wide receiver and especially a better catcher of the football. So, that's a preference thing. But Savion Williams, in regards to movement, size, right? He got pretty much damn near McMillan size, and he's a more fluid mover. So you telling me that ain't something that you would want to draft, especially with this weak-ass draft that is looking like it's going to be? You telling me that you wouldn't want to draft Savion Williams? I'm telling y'all, man, if you're not familiar with him, or if you are familiar with him, look at him again. I want you to pay attention to this. Pay attention to how smooth that this 6'4", how tall is Savion? Well, 6'4", 6'5", that this 6'4", 6'3", probably at the least, is moving in and out his breaks. And you telling me that with some coaching, that and him getting bigger, you telling me that you couldn't have nothing right there? I want to draft my duo. Like with Higgins and Chase, I want to draft that, and I think I can get that with Savion. That's my case for Savion right now. I know there's more people that I need to watch, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the quarterbacks, but I'm going to push off the offensive line and the tight ends for a little bit, and I'm going to go straight to the D-line. I'm going to go to the D-line, quarterbacks, and then make my way back to the offensive line and tight ends, and then finish up with the safeties and linebackers. But we're going to look at these quarterbacks next, though. By the fact, I'm going to start looking at the quarterback. I know I told y'all that I'm going to look at that Ole Miss quarterback first, so that's what we're looking at first. I'm telling y'all, man, trust my word on this. If that wide receiver coach, man, gets the most out of his wide receivers, There ain't no goddamn way that he can't sit over there and make Savion Williams, man, one of your playmakers. Now, can Dak get on the football is another thing. But I'm telling you right now, Savion Williams is the best wide receiver, and to me, it's not even really close. I'm not looking at if you had 1,500 yards. Man, the man was rushing the football. He was running the football, and he was catching the football. That translate. When you got the ball in your hand and you going to get some cornerbacks who don't want to tackle, bro, that's gonna turn a 5-yard game into a 20-yard game. You telling me that this Dallas Cowboys team don't need chunk plays? Yes, they do. We need playmakers. We need playmakers. And a big wide receiver that can go ahead, man, on the other side. Man, I think that man had 2 big wide receivers, man. I think that'll be something a little different. And I think that'll be much needed for this team, man. I personally, myself, like big wide receivers who can move. But, you know, if you can play football, I love football players in general. Like Steve Smith, football player. Wasn't the biggest, but he's a football player. Right? But when you look at like the Chad Ochocinco, them Andre Johnsons, and come on, man. T.O., man, come on, man. I like, you know what I mean? I like a good 6'2", 6'3", or taller wide receiver that can move, man. And I'm telling y'all, that Savion Williams, man, take my word for it. You ain't got to. You just going to see. You ain't got to. You just going to see. McMillan, he cool, solid wide receiver, right? He would have to learn to body up and box out, and you got to get a little stronger to do that. He cool, though, but he ain't all that. But he cool. Luther Burden, that's somebody, I know he a little shorter. I think he like 5'10", 5'11". But that's somebody, man, that especially when he go ahead and even get some more weight room, that he could become a problem with that right after the catch. I mean, right after the catch, I mean, you could look at it like Ayuk type. Like, ain't none of these like other than Savion, ain't none of these wide receivers like, oh my God, man. Like, we got one of them ones, right? We got us adjusted. Ain't none of them wide receivers like that. Well, maybe Savion, like I said, but ain't the rest, no. not in this class. Unless I miss somebody that's laying low and they ain't talking about them, but not in this class. This shit ain't it. Trust me, man. Remember I told you Addison was the best wide receiver in that class? How he doing? Trust me. It's Savion. I'm telling you, it's Savion. And he right at home, right in Texas. Telling you, it's Savion, man. Get that boy, man, more some coaching, man. And as he expand, man, I want him big bodies, man. I want him comebacks. I want him curls, man. I want slants. Man, I want big bodies, man. Shallow crosses. Put that ball in his hands and let him go. As he developed, man, when you start developing that double move and you start whacking them boys in the two levels and he start double moving fools and he gone. If he was a running combine, he like 4-4-ish. He 4-4-ish. You telling me this 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver 4-4-ish? Come on, G. If he wasn't feeling good, it'll be a low 4, high 4-5. But he 4-4-ish. And man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I'm getting ready to start working on these quarterbacks, man. Like I said, we're gonna look at Dart first, man, because I believe looking at the quarterbacks is important too for the Dallas Cowboys. Because if there's somebody that you can grab, it's time to grab it. So we'll look at these quarterbacks, and then after that, we're going straight to the big boys, man, on the defense. Because as you can see with that Super Bowl, man, the Dallas Cowboys need plenty of that. And they drafted them. When you look at them 3 Georgia boys, Nolan Smith, Davis, and Jalen Carter. Come on. They got them SEC boys. What, Sweat? Didn't he go to Mississippi State? All them SEC boys, man. But you want to go get Osa from UCLA. Boy, you need your ass whooped if you gonna pay that boy 15 million. Yeah, you better go get these little big boys, man, that got a different type of mentality. That's strong in there, man. You already missed that on that LSU cat I was talking about. But we're gonna see if they got some of these boys, man, this year, man. If not, man, that's gonna be different, man. We're gonna look though. We're gonna see. But it ain't looking too hot. Like I remember seeing like the little Marshall dude at Marshall, how they was hyping him up, and I looked at a couple clips of him rushing the passer at the Senior Bowl. Bro, he got no bend. No bend. But yeah, man, that's my presentation, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Till the next time, y'all. We gone.